The Alumni Trailblazer Award goes to Dr. B. Scott Gaudi, class of 1991. Dr. Scott Gaudi is an internationally acclaimed astronomer who has been involved in the discovery of nearly 24 extrasolar planets. And in 2008, Dr. Gaudi received worldwide media attention for leading a team of 69 international astronomers in the discovery of a scaled-down solar system. This discovery implies that solar systems similar to ours might be common throughout the galaxy. Dr. Gaudi is an associate professor in the Department of Astronomy at The Ohio State University. He was awarded the Helen B. Warner Prize for significant contribution to observational or theoretical astronomy by the American Astronomical Society and was named one of the 10 rising stars of astronomy by Astronomy magazine. In 2011, Dr. Gaudi received the Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers and earned a highly coveted National Science Foundation Early Career Development Grant. Dr. Gaudi has been an advocate of IMSA, providing media interviews and serving in a strategic advisory capacity. He credits his IMSA experience for giving him the conviction to reach for the stars. And he returned to Illinois in 2009 to share his love of science and the joys of discovery during 2 lectures at IMSA and the Adler Planetarium and Astronomy Museum in 2009. And I got to hear his speech at the Adler Planetarium in 2009, and I let him know before dinner how much I really enjoyed it, and many pieces of his speech I still remember today about how IMSA had an impact on him. So Scott, congratulations on your award, and please join me here at the podium to receive your award.
Thank you very much. Now it's my turn to... Hello, everyone. So first, a few things to say. So I just wanted to start by thanking IMSA for this incredible award. I went back and looked at the list of the previous awardees of the Trailblazer Award, and it's pretty impressive if you look at it. I'm honored to be included among such a prestigious group. Some of you may remember that knew me when I was at IMSA. I grew up in a small town of roughly about 5,000 people called Staunton. Staunton is an old coal mining town located in rural Macoupin County, which is in south central Illinois. Staunton is a fairly typical small Midwestern town. Everyone knows everywhere else, and football reigns supreme. So while I had a few excellent teachers in Staunton, one of whom actually was largely responsible for igniting my interest in science, Mrs. Eleanor Gregory, and who was actually attended the Adler Planetarium talk. For the most part, my teachers actually didn't know what to do with me. And as a kid that was more interested in academics than athletics, I often felt like I was somehow in the wrong place. So one day in fall of 1987, during my freshman year, I can't actually remember what day or month, I was sitting in a science class, my freshman science class, at Staunton High School, when Joe Edel walked into the room. So Joe was from Staunton. He joined IMSA's second class earlier that fall. He's the class of 90. And Joe told us about this mythical place called IMSA, a residential high school with challenging coursework filled with other nerds like me. To me, it didn't sound like it could possibly be real. It sounded like Disneyland or something like that. And so me and 2 other friends of mine talked about IMSA after class, and we all agreed that we really wanted to apply. So I went home and I told my parents about it, and after some discussion, they agreed to let me apply. But strangely, my friends' parents did not let them apply. The idea of sending their kids off to some residential high school 4.5 hours away seemed kind of crazy. So I applied, and I was accepted, and the rest is history. As is the case, I think, for many other IMSA in IMSA, I'd finally found a place where I belonged. I actually had my first taste of astronomical research with Mr. Moyer. Some of you who may remember Mr. Moyer. I was challenged by many fantastic teachers, some of whom are in the room, and I made lifelong friends. And I'm convinced that I owe much of my subsequent success to being at IMSA. So I occasionally think back on that day in 1987 when Joe Edel walked into that room. I wonder, if he hadn't chosen to come back to visit, or maybe I was sick that day, or if I hadn't actually understood the potential of IMSA from the short talk that Joe gave to us, then I may not have actually ended up going to IMSA. And I have to conclude that I was incredibly fortunate to have been presented with that opportunity, the opportunity to go to IMSA. So in fact, I consider myself fortunate in many, many ways. So I'm fortunate to have amazing parents, both of whom are here. I'm very glad to have them here. And my parents have always encouraged me to reach my full potential. They agreed to let me apply to IMSA, and they agreed to let me leave home at the tender age of 14 to go live in this boarding school 4.5 hours away. I'm fortunate to have discovered my true passion, astronomy, at a very early age. In fact, when I was in second grade was when I really started becoming interested in astronomy. I am further fortunate that I actually happen to be pretty good at it. Would have been pretty tragic if I was not. I am fortunate to have a supportive and understanding group of family and friends, as well as my amazing partner, who is also in the audience, all of whom would really like to see a lot more of me, but understand that these sorts of awards are not won without sacrifice. I am fortunate to be paid and funded for something I love to do, something which is, after all, the completely impractical pursuit of pure knowledge, by my sponsors, the Ohio State University, the National Science Foundation, NASA, and ultimately your taxpayer money. Thank you. And finally, I just want to conclude by saying that, I, along with everyone else in this room, in fact, everyone alive today, we're incredibly fortunate and privileged to live in a completely unique time in human history. For the first time, the scientific pursuit of some of our oldest questions and most profound questions has become possible. So questions like, are there other solar systems? Do they look like our own? Are we alone? All of these questions are questions that, that 20 years ago we had no answers to, and now we actually have answers to many of these questions. So I am incredibly grateful and honored to be able to participate in the efforts to answer these fundamental questions. And in fact, I'm astonished that I'm actually, in fact, able to provide some of the answers. How cool is that? Thank you.